What's up, it's Auto Handles, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking about Klay Thompson. But before I can get into the video, be sure to like and subscribe. Let's begin. I don't think I'll ever get used to Klay Thompson in a Mavericks jersey. Yet the only person truly responsible for his situation is Klay himself. Unlike Steph Curry and Draymond Green, who remain with the Warriors, Klay found himself needing a new home. The root cause? Pride. Klay wanted a legacy contract, essentially demanding a hefty deal based on his past accomplishments. But Golden State simply couldn't afford to give him that, especially when he wasn't a third of the player he used to be. Klay's struggles to accept his diminished reality was evident. He was deeply unhappy, not just with the lack of a big contract, but also with the fact that he wasn't the same player who once dropped 60 points on just 11 dribbles. Those kinds of performances were now a thing of the past, and he couldn't handle that. His discontentment affected the team, both on and off the court. Once known as a zero-maintenance star by Steve Kerr, Klay had become the opposite, a frustrated presence on the sidelines, far from reliable in games, and unable to keep his composure. The 2 years he missed due to injuries took a toll, and while the Warriors exercised patience, Klay wasn't providing much value during his recovery. The team began shifting its focus away from the former Splash brother, whose decline began after he tore his ACL in the 2019 NBA Finals. By the time he returned in 2022, the Warriors adjusted their lineup to accommodate him, moving Jordan Poole back to the bench to avoid irritating Klay. However, it became clear the organization valued Poole and Andrew Wiggins more. That reality was underscored when the Warriors prioritized extending Poole and Wiggins instead of Klay or even Draymond Green after their championship run. For Klay, this was a hard pill to swallow, but the Warriors had already begun moving on from him long before his exit. It's no surprise that we've ended up with Klay Thompson now suiting up for the Mavericks. Everyone knew what Dallas was getting into when they acquired him, and it wasn't the 2014 through 2022 version of Klay. There was no chance he'd return to his prime form. Instead, the Mavericks were banking on him becoming a reliable third option, a 3-and-D player who could bring valuable experience to their lineup. The appeal was clear, with Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic drawing significant defensive attention. Adding a sharpshooter like Klay could shift the dynamic. It made sense for a team desperate to bolster its roster after falling short in the NBA Finals against the Celtics. The Mavericks had to keep up as the league around them kept evolving. The reigning champion Celtics retained their core, locking in Jason Tatum and Derek White with extensions. The Pelicans made a big move by adding DeJounte Murray to a lineup featuring Zion Williamson, Brandon Ingram, and CJ McCollum. The Nuggets secured Russell Westbrook on a 2-year deal. Meanwhile, the Warriors landed Buddy Hield in a sign-and-trade with the 76ers. Other teams were active too. The Timberwolves and Knicks executed a blockbuster trade, essentially swapping star players, while the 76ers signed Paul George to a 4-year deal. Oklahoma City traded Josh Giddey for Alex Caruso, and the Kings added DeMar DeRozan via a sign-and-trade. The Mavericks, feeling the pressure, saw Klay as a piece to help keep them competitive. But so far, the word that best sums up Klay Thompson's season with the Mavericks is inconsistency. Watching his decline has been tough, especially considering that consistency was once his defining trait. In his final year with the Warriors, this began to unravel, eroding the very quality that made him such a remarkable high-volume shooter. Now, the numbers tell the real story about where he stands. Take a look at a more recent stretch of his games. He scored 22 points against his former team, the Warriors, followed by a 17-point game against the Jazz. But then at home, against the Spurs, he managed only 9 points. Things spiraled from there. A dismal 5-point game on 1 of 11 shooting, 19 points on 40% from the field against the Pelicans, and a terrible 0-point game on 0 of 8 shooting versus the Nuggets. A graph of his performance would show wild fluctuations, showing the uncertainty he brings to the floor. You never know which version of Klay you'll get. It feels like rolling dice and hoping for the best. Statistically, this is his least productive season since his rookie year, with averages of 13 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists on 38.3% shooting from the field and 36.8% from 3. He's only had 3 seasons shooting below 40%, and get this, every single one of them happened since returning from his 2-year injury hiatus. And these same injuries have continued to plague him, with a recent foot issue and even a back problem after his first preseason games with the Mavericks. Let's hope these setbacks remain minor rather than a preview of what's ahead. Currently, the Mavericks sit at 12-8, 5th in the Western Conference. Luka Doncic hasn't fully hit his stride yet this season, so there's always room for this team to climb the standings once he finds his rhythm. But what do you think? Did the Warriors make the right call in refusing to give Klay the contract he wanted, or will he help propel the Mavericks to a championship? Tell me in the comment section below. Until next time, peace.